Sonic in the early 90s to 2000s was absolutely killing the game. From having absolutely revolutionary style 2D and 3D games, it really seemed like Sonic was on top of the gaming world. And even with Sega straying away from consoles, it still seemed like their number one focus was Sonic. And it really seemed like Sega and Sonic Team could truly do no wrong in the series, as it made so many great games and they continue to do so. And this was until about 2005. With the release of Shadow the Hedgehog in 2005, we had received some of the worst reviews that we have possibly ever seen in the Sonic series. And quite frankly, was not a feeling that we were used to as Sonic fans. But Shadow the Hedgehog wasn't the only thing that was received poorly in the public eye in that era. You had games like Sonic 06 that many consider to be the worst Sonic game, or the Storybook series with Sonic and the Sacred Rings and Black Knight also being very poorly reviewed. And this continued to about 2009, and a lot of people just dubbing this the Dark Age of Sonic. Now, those unfamiliar with what the Dark Age of Sonic means, it is basically an era of games that seemed rushed, glitchy, or just poorly designed by Sega. And that's just kind of a matter of opinion. Now, before you say that I'm agreeing that that is the Dark Age of Sonic, just wait a second. I want to take a second to say that I truly think that the Dark Ages of Sonic never existed. Sure, Sonic might have stumbled a little bit and had some of the worst things that we've seen in the series within that era. I don't think that makes it a Dark Age. Because with games like Shadow the Hedgehog, I still think that was a great game at that. Sure, it might have been super repetitive, sure Shadow might have sweared, and sure he might be shooting guns, but I don't think that ultimately made it a bad game. Sure, I don't think it's a great game and I don't think it deserves to be praised, but I ultimately don't think it was truly a bad game. You also have games like Sonic 06, and I mean, sure, was it a glitchy mess? Was it a rushed mess? Absolutely, but honestly, it had some of the most potential that I've ever seen in a Sonic game. With introducing characters like Silver, having great level design, and having amazing music, Sonic 06 wasn't that bad. And Project 06 today proves that, just how good of a game it could have been if they were given the correct amount of time to make the game. And Secret Rings and Black Knight, again, ultimately I didn't think were all that bad. If you've never truly played Secret Rings without all the skills, I ask you to go back and play it with the skills, because honestly, it's pretty damn fun at that. And Black Knight fixing some of the control issues that Secret Rings had. I think it's great, and I think it's something that I would like to see come back. And don't even get me started with Sonic Riders being considered part of the Dark Ages. I think Sonic Riders is the best Sonic racing game we've had, period. But the quote-unquote Dark Ages isn't the point of this video. And that's why I want to make this statement, and something that I firmly believe in is that we are in the golden age of Sonic. Sonic has been its best it's been, honestly, ever. And honestly, with the type of content we received in the last year and now going forward in the future, it has been absolutely insane. With Sonic Frontiers being the most recent 3D Sonic game that we received, this was a huge step in the right direction for 3D Sonic. I think open world fits Sonic super well, having amazing boss fights and also having some of the coolest fighting techniques that we've seen in a Sonic game. It is absolutely such a joy to continue to play to this day. And I think if Sega builds off of what Sonic Frontiers did, I think we could easily get one of the best Sonic games there is to date. Or even Sonic Superstars being the most recent 2D Sonic game, with again another huge step in the right direction for classic Sonic. Sega taking a risk from moving away from pixel art to 3D models and still killing it with all the Emerald abilities and multiple playable characters in the game. And sure, this game was not perfect, and even I'm guilty myself of kind of bashing on the game a little bit. This is still a great game at that. Or even if you're a mobile gamer, Sonic Dream Team is absolutely killing the game over on Apple devices. Sure, it's not great that it's only exclusive to Apple Arcade, but you can't deny that this is a great game if you've played it. And honestly, one of the most well-received Sonic games that I've seen in quite a while. Or even Sonic Forces Speed Battle that's still getting current updates with adding new characters and different level design. Or even if you're a fan of the TV series, Sonic Prime was again also killing the game. With introducing different versions of existing characters and new locations, this has been one of the most thrilling things to watch as Sonic content. And honestly, it might go down as my favorite Sonic show at that, even though I'm very loyal to the Sonic SatAM cartoon. Even have the likes of collections recently with Sonic Origins Plus. And something that I hope that they continue to do with collections with adding the adventure games to modern day consoles. Or just my remake of Sonic Adventure 2 would be great, Sega. And you even have the ongoing IDW comics, which has been honestly some of the best story that I think we've seen in Sonic period. Now, I'm not completely 100% caught up on Sonic IDW comics, so bear with me on that, but I do think that it is a great series. And I hope that it continues to thrive for many more years. I also recently attended the Sonic Symphony in Chicago this last year. And honestly, it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had as a Sonic fan. And honestly, it was so great to see so many other Sonic fans in the same room. And seeing everybody go crazy for songs like Live and Learn, What I'm Made Of, and I Am All of Me was one of the most exhilarating experiences I've ever had in my life. and something I hope they continue to add tour dates because I'd love to go again, and I definitely recommend going if you can. You even had the likes of the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was a absolute shadow drop on April Fool's Day. And sure, it might be just a goofy, silly little game, I think it was actually some of the coolest games in a game that I truly could not put down until I beat it. And I'd love to see another game within this style with more detective work, especially with the Chaotix. You also had DLC 3 of Sonic Frontiers that released this year. And this might be a little bit too soon to say, but honestly, the boss fight in Sonic DLC 3, I think might just be the best boss fight we've had in history. With having absolutely awesome music inside of it, new super forms, and absolutely exhilarating of a boss fight, it was absolutely perfect in my mind. And if this is a sign for things that comes at the ending of Sonic games, we're in store for some awesome content. And there's just so much more to look forward in 2024 for Sonic. This is only the beginning of the golden era. You have Sonic Movie 3 with the likes of Shadow being added inside of it and hopefully taking the story of Sonic Adventure 2 in movie format. It's going to be absolutely a thrill to see. You also have the rumors of a Sonic and Shadow game possibly being made as well. And if that's true, seeing Shadow as a main character again, oh damn, we are eating good in 2024. Because this is great for some great level design, awesome music, and everything we're used to in Sonic games. If they made a game that was just the speed sections of Sonic Adventure 2 and extended on that, I would be so happy. And if those rumors are true, I am beyond excited to see what they can do for a Sonic and Shadow game. And even the likes of Sonic Prime Season 3 going on right now, IDW Comics still being continued, we are eating good. And who knows what else we have in store for Sonic, because this is just only the beginning. I truly cannot wait to see what Sega has in store for Sonic for this next coming year, or possibly the next few years ahead of us. I think Sonic is going to be one of the biggest faces of gaming for many years to come. And with Sega stating that they're going to give Sonic a higher budget for his games, who's to say that he couldn't win a bunch of awards like Game of the Year? And I know it's a pretty big statement to say that he could be considered for Game of the Year in one of his future games, but who's to say it's out of the realm of happening? Because I truly think that Sonic in the series truly has the keys to success and potentially being able to make that happen in the future. Because with having higher budget, continued to have great level design, awesome boss fights, continued awesome music, and one of the best communities I think in gaming, Sonic is going to thrive for a very long time. And he's truly not going anywhere anytime soon. And I truly can't wait to see what Sega has in store for all of this, because it's going to be one hell of a ride. This is probably truly one of the first times that I've ever not been worried about the future for Sonic. And kind of like the 90s to 2000s, like I said at the beginning of the video, I feel like that they could truly do no wrong at this point. And let's hope I don't jinx it here, because this is just the beginning of Sonic's journey in the golden era.